People today often sink into heavy credit card debt for a single social media post. We sacrifice actual resources to maintain an illusion of high status. This obsession with social validation has long-standing roots. In 19th century Paris, Mathilde Loisel lived as the daughter of clerks while remaining convinced she was entitled to extreme luxury. This photograph of a typical middle-class interior shows Mathilde's actual, comfortable reality. She had a roof, furniture, and service, yet she looked at these patterned walls and felt only resentment. Mathilde suffered from a psychological deficit. Her ego demanded a lifestyle that her husband's salary could never support. Her misery was a product of expectation, not poverty. She lived in a state of constant suffering because of the massive gap between her pride and her material circumstances. An invitation to an exclusive party at the minister's residence should have been a triumph. Instead, it triggered an immediate crisis of vanity. To protect her image, she demanded an immediate investment of 400 francs for a new dress. This single purchase drained her husband's entire personal savings. A dress alone wasn't enough to simulate high status. To complete the look, she visited a wealthy friend, Madame Forestier, and borrowed a spectacular diamond necklace. The night of the ball was a total victory. Mathilde was the prettiest woman in the room, dancing with enthusiasm and basking in the exact admiration she had always craved. For one evening, she successfully bought her way into the upper class. She achieved her goal, but the entire experience was built on borrowed capital. The high ended at 4 o'clock. They left the minister's residence, stepping into the vast, cold reality of the Parisian streets. Back in their apartment, Mathilde took one final look in the mirror to admire her glory. She screamed. The necklace was gone. They searched the folds of her dress, the pockets of their coats, and the path they took on foot. They found nothing. At this moment, Mathilde faced a choice. She could confess the accident to her friend, or she could hide it. Her pride made honesty impossible. She could not endure the humiliation of appearing poor or irresponsible. The lost necklace was an accident. The decision to fake its return was the true catastrophe. They searched the high-end shops of the Palais Royal and found an identical diamond replacement. To maintain the lie, they committed to buying it. The cost was staggering. The jeweler valued the new necklace at 40,000 francs, agreeing to sell for 36. Financing required total sacrifice. They used an 18,000 franc inheritance, then borrowed the rest at ruinous interest rates. They effectively mortgaged their entire future. Mathilde and her husband traded their lives for a piece of jewelry they shouldn't have needed. Servicing this debt required an immediate collapse in their standard of living. They dismissed the maid, moved out of their apartment, and rented a cramped attic room. Mathilde entered a world of grueling physical labor. She spent her days scrubbing floors, washing soiled linen, and hauling water up several flights of stairs. This brutal existence lasted for 10 full years. The work aged her rapidly, turning her into a hardened, crude woman of a poor household, with red hands and a loud voice. Her prideful attempt to look like she belonged to the elite is precisely what dragged her into the lowest ranks of the working class. After a decade of misery, the ledger finally cleared. Every loan was repaid, every ruinous promise was fulfilled. While walking the Champs-Élysées, Mathilde spotted Madame Forestier. Forestier was still young and beautiful, a sharp contrast to the hardened woman Mathilde had become. Mathilde felt a new kind of pride, the pride of having survived. She confessed the truth about the lost necklace and the 10 years of labor to replace it. Madame Forestier was horrified, revealing her original necklace was fake paste diamonds, worth at most 500 francs. Mathilde spent 10 years of her life in poverty to buy real diamonds to replace glass. These banknotes represent a decade of lost labor. We are looking at a forensic accounting of a fragile ego. A single moment of honesty on the morning after the ball would have saved 10 years of their lives. Instead, the pride tax demanded a decade of silence and suffering. The gap between the 500 franc reality and the 36,000 franc illusion is where Mathilde's life was lost. Pride is a catastrophic investment. It forces us to pay life-ruining prices to protect an image that possesses no actual value.